So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start ripping our plywood down. We did 4 sides at 24 inches high and about 4 feet long. 2 of the sides ended up being cut an inch short to accommodate for the thickness of the 2 other pieces to make a perfect 4 foot by 4 foot square. Now, I have the Festool track saw, which makes cutting these extremely easy, but you could just as simply use a straight 2x4 and a regular circular saw. You're gonna have to excuse the blown out whiteness of the video. It was extremely sunny outside and I don't think my camera can handle all that light. And finally here we are cutting our base piece, which is the 4x4 square, which the walls of this chicken brooder will rest on. And finally, what we're cutting here is the front piece to the chicken brooder. You're going to have 2 shorter in width sides, and we're going to cut out the middle to put a hinged door in for easy access. Next, we're going to set up for a series of cuts. These are going to be essentially our upright posts to hold all the walls up and to also hold our hinged door. We're cutting all these just at 4 feet. This was some scrap 2x4s I had laying around. The saw I'm using here is a DeWalt 12-inch circular saw. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think it's underpowered for the size of the blade that it has. If I was to buy it again, I think I would go with a 10-inch model for the increased amount of torque. Now finally, we're going to start our assembly process. Here you'll see me laying down the 4 foot by 4 foot square. I've propped up 2 of the 2 foot by 4 foot sides, and I'm going to struggle by myself to screw all these together, but with some clamps or something else, you could make this a lot easier on yourself. Here's the first of the 2 shorter 2 foot sides. These shorter sides, as I mentioned earlier, will give us clearance between them to put in a little door for easy access to the chicken coop. Now here you'll see me using my patented leg wedge. Something like this takes many years to actually make, but with a little practice you could probably make one of your own. with the rough shell assembled, you can see we have ample amount of space for the baby chickens. This should serve much better than my previous chicken brooder in the old 40-gallon tote. So this was my first in the process design change here. I originally was going to do a full door, the full 4 feet up. The problem is I'm doing a deep pine shaving bed in here, so every time I open the door it would make a mess. So I decided to put in 3 2x6s. It'll give us 18 inches of height, and then I'll build my door on top of it, and I don't have to worry about putting any chicken wire above that. Here is that middle piece that we cut to put in for our door. And as you can see, I am using proper technique to make sure that it'll actually fit. It only works if you swing it open 2 or 3 times. Now, to actually put up the door, I couldn't figure out how to actually make my patented leg wedge work, so I had to recruit the use of an actual clamp to hold it up there for me. As you can see here, the door hinge is working flawlessly, probably due to my extensive mock-up process. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm building this chicken brooder on a budget, and most of the materials from this were just scraps that I had laying around the garage. So the upper portion of wire is going to be used to keep the chickens from obviously flying out. And I had to use different kinds of wire just because it was what I had lying around, and I didn't want to buy different kinds of wire just for the sake of aesthetics. You know, this is for chickens. So here what you see me doing is I'm bending some 2-hole straps, and I'm just going to use these to anchor the centers of the wire mesh so that nothing can really force its way in or out. And with just a screw going right through it, that'll hold it right nice and tight. So here, my little shop helper is coming out to give me a hand. One of her favorite tools is the drill. I have to help her keep things aligned, but she makes great company in the shop. Now here I'm teaching my little shop helper the power of leverage. We just took one of my torque wrenches and threaded it through the eyelet and used that to spin it around easier.
Work.
Just like that.
Magic.
And finally, we're filling the brooder with our pine shavings, and we are ready to put all the baby chickens and the 2 geese in here.